Welcome to Best Life Ever, the podcast with your host, time and energy coaches, Kimi and Pua. We have another great episode for you today, but first we wanted to read you this awesome iTunes review that came in. Yay for 5-star iTunes reviews. All right. So this iTunes review comes from Ryan Charaba, who we recently had on the podcast. And it says, Kimi and Pua are awesome and truly care. Kimi and Pua's dedication to you having everything you want in your life and more isn't easily matched. They will go out of their way to really find that thing that could help elevate you to the next lesson. The people they interview, like Ryan, are truly giving it their all and are real people just like you. Give it a whirl and you won't regret it. Yeah, thank you so much, Ryan. If you missed Ryan's interview, definitely go back and have a listen. He is just such a great guy and definitely somebody giving it their all. So thank you, and we appreciate all of you and your iTunes reviews, and keep them coming. And we'd love to read yours on the air.
Yeah, we're gonna read it out loud. So
yes,
don't say anything you don't want your grandma to hear. Just kidding. But your grandma's a big fan.
Hi, Grandma.
Hi, Grandma. Before we get started in this awesome episode, we want to tell you guys a little bit about Best Life Ever Fix. And you're all, yeah, we know. We heard about the Fix. We're like, good. We hope you've heard about it. Tell your friends. So BLE Fix, if you have not heard about it, is a monthly subscription for motivated individuals who want to transform their personal and professional lives in a convenient, easy, and fun way that fits your modern on-the-go lifestyle. You know what that means? That means you can watch BLE Fix trainings from your phone. It means you can watch them at work. It means you can tell your boss to watch it at work. We have a group that sits in the office and watches it from work. And sometimes they jump on camera and say hi. It's really, really awesome. So if you guys want to jump on the Fix, we are giving a month free to our BLE podcast listeners. So go ahead and jump on over to kimiandpua.com/BLE Fix VIP30. Try a month for free. Fall in love with it. Stick around. It's going to be epic.
Yes. If we're waiting for a sign to join, this is your sign right now. This is 30 days free. So there is nothing to lose and only time and energy to gain. How's that? And especially this month, we're talking about joy and fun and creating more time for joy and fun and all that good stuff. You're going to love it. Try it out. You're going to be bummed if you miss this 30-day free trial that is ending soon. So get on board. And it's also a great opportunity to interact with us live every week. We have so much fun on these live calls, and it's a cool way to just, bring your questions, be a part of a really, really amazing group of people that are all working towards that best life ever buzz. So jump on board.
We have a cool Facebook group for this too.
Mm-hmm.
There are people who reach out and ask questions, and it's a great group of people. And, there's that saying, right? Surround yourself with people on the same mission as you. And it's just so uplifting to see the interaction in that Facebook group. And we want you in there.
Yep, we sure do. All right. So heads up again. I definitely think I'm going to swear again in this episode. I have such a potty mouth. I apologize. But when we talk about this subject, this is sort of a little bit of a continuation of the conversation that we had in last week's episode about what BS stories you're telling yourself. So, just a heads up that there might be swearing, or guaranteed there will be swearing again. And we just get a little bit fired up as we talk about this because it means so much to us. So when I get excited, I swear.
I hear that's a sign of intellect.
Oh, good. Then I am brilliant.
There's an article going around on Facebook. I honestly think someone who swears a lot wrote the article to prove to people that they weren't just being an obnoxious member of society, but whatever it was, it's now out there in print. So
yes.
There you go.
Yeah, well, we wanted to kind of keep this conversation going. If you haven't listened to last week's episode about asking yourself, what are the bullshit stories that you're telling yourself that are preventing you from living bigger, playing bigger, letting your light shine. Go back, check it out. But we got some really great feedback on that episode, and people just appreciating, hearing a little bit of the behind the scenes of what goes on at Best Life Ever. And just this is like opening the kimono a little bit, right? And like sharing with you in a way that continues to dispel the myth that Best Life Ever is this perfect life that's all sparkles and rainbows and unicorns. And that is definitely not the case, and not the how we want to present Best Life Ever as a mission and a vision. So we're going to talk about a little bit more bullshit and talk about some fails today.
Yeah, for sure. And this is not us like backpedaling, like, oh, you think we're perfect, but no, like these are all the ways that we suck. Like, no.
And look at us, we're hot messes.
Like we can suck too. Like, no, that's not it. But we really are inspired by serving the world through our services and through our podcast and through the energy that we bring, that you can have your best life ever, and it doesn't mean you're perfect. And there's just so many people coming to us saying like, well, like I didn't really want to ask you guys because you're like always happy and stuff, but like I just have this problem. And we have problems. Like, let me tell you, we have our stuff, but it's just about having the tools to work through that, but also acknowledging that that's part of life. And we're going to share some pretty hilarious fails with you. Honestly, we're doing this episode because we were sharing these with each other, and we were like, this is so funny. Like, if for no other reason, like if this helps nobody, at least like people will be able to laugh at us, because it's just like, you either have two choices, right? Like you laugh or you cry. And for a lot of these, we kind of did both. Right? Like these are tears, and I'm not really sure what emotion they match with, but I'm definitely crying.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the biggest misconceptions is that people, it becomes like, what's the word? Like it kind of separates, it's a separator, right? Because people say, oh, well, it's easy to be positive like you guys are if you don't have any real challenges going on in your life. And so it's important to us to dispel that myth, first of all, because everybody is going to have challenges in life. And it's about, as Pua said, what tools we have to process that, what our perception is of those challenges. And, it's also that we're not just positive all the time because life is easy all the time. And also, living a bigger life. And if you have big dreams and if you want to do great things in the world, the reality is that it means typically that you're going to have more challenges because you're risking more. And so then there's the potential to fail more. And our scared ego wants to believe that is a bad thing, that failure is a bad thing. And so part of today is about reframing that and celebrating failure as a sign that we are trying. We are trying to live our best life ever, that we are doing big things in the world, that we're taking more risks, that we're getting out of our comfort zone.
Mm-hmm. It's high risk, high reward,
yes.
Right? Your best life ever, like risks are non-negotiable. They're included, or not risk, but failure is like included in that, right? Because if you want to stay where you are, if you're totally perfectly happy where you are, like don't let me talk you out of that. But we're just saying this because many people that we talk to are not 100% stoked on where they are right now. But in order to move forward from that and live bigger, achieve all of your big visions and your big dreams, there's some kind of scary, massive action that has to be taken. It doesn't have to be scary, actually. Actually, that's a great segue into our first one. But, it's that like take a risk, because yes, you could fail. And for some, the bigger the risk, the bigger the fail, right? Like, just think about it. And it's 99% of the time that's true. But also think of the gains. Like, what could you possibly gain whether you fail or not, right? Because there's always lessons in failure. And that's, I think, what we really tried to focus on when we were talking about this and creating this episode. And we're just going to dive right into the first one because it was just so funny. Like, when we said it, we just couldn't stop laughing. And Kimmy and I both have been talking to people about our business, every day, everybody we talk to, it's all over our Facebook. People are always asking us about it. And they're often saying like, this is such a cool thing you're doing. What you're doing is so great. I'm so proud of you for, starting a business and serving the world in this way. And Kimmy and I both will say things like, oh yeah, entrepreneurship is really hard, or entrepreneurship is really scary. And like it's like the first thing that comes out of my mouth. I'm like, yeah, it's really fun, but it's really scary, And it's just so like, what the heck, man? Like our whole mission is to empower people to live a life that they're passionate about and create their best life ever. And for some people that will be leaving behind a steady job to build a business. But if we're out there saying, oh yeah, it's super scary, it's super hard, like that person might say, oh yeah, it sounds too hard. I'm just not going to do it. Right? Like what message are we putting out there when we say that? And it's like, we're like, oh my God, that's such a fail.
Such a fail. Well, it's such an incomplete story too, because it's just that first thing that's very present for us at times. Like it can be hard and it can be scary, but guess what? It's also freaking awesome. We have so much time and energy freedom as entrepreneurs. I get to spend so much time with my kids. Like I get to choose what I'm going to do in a day. We get to follow our inspiration. We don't have to answer to anybody except for each other and ourselves. Like it is so amazing. The freedom that we feel as entrepreneurs is like, oh, it is priceless. It's amazing. But is that the first thing that comes to like out of our mouths when somebody asks us about this? No. and so it's really not fair for us to only share the shitty stuff. Like it's just such an incomplete fail right there, And so yeah, that one cracked us up for sure.
And here's the other thing about that. Like we have been through some challenging times as business owners, and we are here to support you if you want to go on this journey. And I would venture to guess that many business owners, many entrepreneurs would also offer this kind of support because, it's just a lot of stuff to figure out and the road is not smooth. Hi, Scully.
Oops, sorry. I'll mute myself.
And it's, it can be challenging, but it's so fun. It's so rewarding. And it really, it's the most fulfilled, the happiest I've ever been. And I'm not going to speak for Kimmy, but I think I can safely say that she feels the same way, right?
Yes.
It's like it is so worth all the crap. So we're here to help you through the crap. And it's not that the crap doesn't exist, but let's not let that be the first thing that we tell people, right?
Yeah. Especially it's like right after they're like trying to high five us for this thing,
yeah.
Right? They're inspired by what we're doing. And we're like, well, yeah, it's hard. Fail. Okay, let's share another fail with everybody because this is another one that we cracked up at this morning. And that is that we're just going to come clean with you guys and tell you that we haven't completely finished one of our weekly planning, Best Life Ever weekly planning sessions in its entirety in months.
Oh my God, I have my hands over my eyes right now. I'm so embarrassed.
Because this is the process that we like tell everybody all the time. Like it's so important. And it is. And I'll also say
we don't do it.
No, it's not that we don't do it.
We spend like 2.5 hours. Like we'll start it every week.
We check in every week. We check in every week, but we've been skipping over some of the really vital questions that we tell people are the ones not to skip over, like celebrating your wins, right? Celebrating, well, like celebrate, be grateful. There's a gratitude question, right? And a lot of times we're just like, I think we're done.
Oh my God.
So awful.
So
I can't even believe I'm saying that out loud to all of you, but we just we wonder perhaps if there are people out there that have the same experience and that sometimes, and then you feel like you're failing at this weekly planning process because you're not doing it completely. And we're here as the creators of the system to tell you that sometimes we don't do it completely, but it's the act of connecting with each other. It's the act of checking in. It's the act of being consistent with the process that is more powerful than perfection. And I think that's worth celebrating. Like that's the fail worth celebrating right there, is that while we're failing to do it perfectly, we're still doing it. And so that's a fail. It's funny. Also, I'd like to add that another little funny thing is like today, we recognize that we have been leaving these sort of important elements out of our weekly planning process that seem sort of fluffy because we just want to like get to the meat and potatoes. I say that all the time now, thanks to you, Pua. We just want to like get to the meat and potatoes of like, what do we have to do? What do we have to do? All this like forward focus stuff, right? Instead of going back and reflecting on like how we've grown and like all the great things that we've done. And in our eagerness to do that, we've just been skipping over some of this important things. So our intention at the beginning of our Best Life Ever weekly planning today was to finish our Best Life Ever weekly planning. Like so simple, but just setting that intention totally transformed it for us and held us accountable.
And I really like to think of this as like a step forward. It's like progress when it comes to my personality, because I'm so all or nothing that if I were doing this on my own without Kimi's support and, reminder that this is okay to not finish sometimes, I would be like, I'm never doing it again. Mm-hmm. I've broken the chain. I'm doing it wrong. And that relates to so many other areas of life, right? Like, how many times have you said, I'm going to go to the gym every day this week, and then you go on Monday, you miss Tuesday, and because you miss Tuesday, you don't go the rest of the week. Like that's just, it doesn't have to be that way. And there are these false limitations that we put on ourselves, and they just aren't real. And so for me to look at this and say, like, we haven't finished a best week ever planning in months, but we still do it every week, regardless of whether or not we finished last week, like that's kind of huge.
Yeah, that's a celebration within the fail. Like that's how to celebrate your fail right there. And can I just add that we both cried today in our Best Life Ever weekly planning? Like that is a sign that we're doing something right. Like we love what we do so much that sometimes it's so painful that it brings us to tears. And that's beautiful. Like, is that a fail or is that something to celebrate? Like, that's why we're here talking about celebrating your fails, because your fails are a sign that a lot of times that you care deep enough that it hurts.
Is it beautiful that I ugly cried yesterday? Twice?
Yes, it is. Although I didn't see it, so I can't actually tell you how
I'm
beautiful
pretty sure
it was.
It wasn't beautiful. Let me tell you that.
Oh, ugly crying feels so good though. And again, what can we celebrate about that, right? How can we celebrate that fail? It's like you cry because you care. Same thing, right? Why do we cry? If we didn't cry, it would mean that we didn't care enough about anything to cry about. And
I am such a crier.
Great.
Did you ever see that Kristen Bell video where Kristen Bell loves sloths, right? And so like she's on Ellen and she's explaining this video that Dax brought home a sloth for her birthday, and she like couldn't get it together. Like she was so happy that she was hysterically crying. And so she was telling Ellen, she's like, if I'm like anywhere between like a 3 and an 8, I'm okay. Anything above or below, I'm crying. That's me. Like unless I'm happy and excited, and then there are times when I'm happy and excited and I cry anyway. But like if I'm sad, frustrated, mad, upset, like any emotion other than happy, I'm crying, and it's like so annoying. Nervous.
And sometimes when happy, you cry too, right?
Yes.
I cry happy. I cry at Facebook videos all the time, like inspiring, fun Facebook stories. Like, oh my god,
it's so weird. Like, at weddings when I give speeches, like it's not a sad speech, or like sometimes I'll cry so much I can't even finish it, or like when I'm nervous. Like I got pulled over when I was in college and I had I went through the whole DUI thing, and I wasn't drinking like at all. And I was just so scared because it was like law enforcement, and their like repercussions would be I'd go to jail, and I thought I would fail because I have bad balance and all. It was just like this crazy thing. So after the whole thing was done, like they breathalyzed me. They were like, "Oh, sorry about that. You're good. You can go." And I just sat in the car and I cried. And I just like, I don't know. It was fine. I should have just been off on my way. Like, it's so weird. Anyway.
Yeah. It's okay to cry. And you know what? It's okay not to cry too. But I do feel that crying is a great sign that you're doing something that is out of, you're letting yourself get out of your comfort zone. And that's like when you're out of your comfort zone, it can feel scary. It can feel emotional. It can make you cry. That's something to celebrate, not something to be like hard on yourself for, right?
Right.
Yes. Okay. All right. Okay. So I have to share this story, this spiral that I went down, because I think a lot of people go through this. And this is particularly a fail as a time and energy coach, I will say. But I found myself, mindlessly surfing Facebook. Actually, it wasn't mindless at first. It was very intentional, as it always is. I go in, I had something that I was going to do, for our brand or something. And then this video popped up on my feed about like this dog that like got booped in the nose by a kitten. And it was making this like freaked out face, like its eyes got all big, and it was hilarious, right? And the caption said something like, "That dog's face though," and I was like, oh, that's so funny. I'm going to tag Joey in it. And so I tagged Joey because it's funny because it's a small kitten and this dog, right, is like so freaked out by it. Then I made the mistake of reading the Facebook comments. First, I was just like, holy shit, there's so many Facebook comments. Like, because we're always thinking about engagement on our posts. And there were hundreds of comments on this, hundreds, like back and forth and back and forth. And I started to read them, which is, as you all know, a dangerous rabbit hole to go down. And it will make you second guess, like, everything about humanity. It will make you like question the world that we freaking live in. And it was all about like this back and forth. Apparently, like people that have experience with dog, personalities and like work with animals are like, oh, that's a sign that the dog, it's called whale eye, and the dog is in distress, and how dare this person, it looks funny and now this is going to get shared everywhere, but it's not funny. That kitten could be eaten. And it was just all this back and forth. And then people getting mad at this person, or the people that were defending the dog, saying like, oh, I bet you're fucking fun at parties. I bet you're this. I bet you're that. And then like it got worse and worse and worse. And people just name calling and like all over just like a little cute video of the kitten booping the dog. And I went into this very dark, sad place of like, I don't know how to live. Like, is this the world that we live in? And am I in a bubble that like to think that we can create light and change and hope in a world that wants to just fight on frickin' Facebook instead of get out there and make the world a better place? So that's my fail.
Two things about that. One, there is a meme of Michael Jackson, and it's him like creepily gazing off. And the meme says, "I came here for the comments." And I think about that all the time because I read comments on Facebook posts. It's almost as if I enjoy the comments more than the actual content. And the more messed up it is, the more I want to read the comments. Or like, it's almost like I'm looking for someone who's validating the way I feel about it. And it's just like, it's so entertaining in the worst way because, as you said, like, is this the world that we live in? And I just want to put out there in the world that like, it is very safe and easy to be hurtful behind a computer screen. And whatever that's bringing up for you that makes you want to call people out and be rude and be an ass because someone was rude to you and now you get to put it on someone else or whatever that is, like really think about that and know that everything that you put on the internet is there to stay. It's searchable. Anybody can find that. It's linked to you. It never goes away. And B, like, you're still talking to a person, and being an ass doesn't make you cool. And it breaks my heart to read these messages. And some of them are so full of hate and so, like, I don't know, it's just like, it like destroys my heart. It really is upsetting to me. But there are also tons of amazing comments out there. There are so many really cool Facebook stories about, people who found lost children or lost animals, or people who are there, offering support to someone who is feeling suicidal, or, connecting people that need to be connected. And there's all this magic happening on social media too. And that's really beautiful, but it's often very hidden by all the ugly stuff. And yeah, it like, ugh.
Thank you
so much. A little bit
of
a tangent.
But. No, thank you so much for that reminder, because, I think that's what this episode is all about for us, and what Best Life Ever is all about. And like, I don't consider myself to be a Pollyanna that doesn't, see that there is darkness in this world. It's just that I choose to, like, I acknowledge it, but I choose not to focus on it. I rather choose to focus on the light rather than the darkness. That does not mean that I don't appreciate the darkness, that I don't know that it's there, that I don't have compassion for people that come from darkness or are in darkness, or, are a part of it either. But it is, what we choose, how we choose to perceive it, how we choose to act on it, and what we choose to focus on that defines us. And it's really easy to just add into that comment thread. And it's often harder to make the choice to not engage, or even just to have compassion for people that are engaging in that, right? Because it's okay too. Like, that's where people are at. That's where people are at. And I will say, I've been in the group for Gabrielle Bernstein's Spirit Junkie Masterclass, which is like, thousands of people that are light workers coming together, working on bettering themselves and trying to heal the planet and all that. And the comments in that Facebook group are so different. It's like somebody will share that they're, some of their fears that are coming up in the pursuit of their business dreams or life dreams. And the support there is so amazing. I mean, the engagement that we get in our tribe, in the fix, like everywhere else is so positive. And so I could choose to focus on the hundreds of comments on this dog and, or I could choose to focus on all the beautiful things. And, or I could, acknowledge both and then make a decision on where I want to put my energy.
For sure. And there's, we get to choose how we show up in the world, despite all the crap. And it's funny, right? Like, I open these long comment threads, and so many of them make me want to jump in and either, defend somebody or call someone out for being such a jerk. And it's a choice that we have every day. And, some people are choosing one way and we get to choose our way. And it's like, if anybody starts a racist comment thread on a Best Life Ever post, I'll tell you who's coming after you right now. Nobody. We're just going to let you go, and then we're going to delete you.
Yeah, we can always make a choice whether or not to let, like, there is always hate in this world, and we can choose to let it drag us down, or we can choose to be brighter and bigger than it and lift up those around us. It's always a choice.
That's our master plan, right? Like, we want to just create a revolution where we're so aligned and fulfilled and excited about our lives that we don't have the time or the energy to even care that somebody is saying something rude. Like, they don't deserve our light and our love. I mean, they deserve our love, but like that doesn't have to be a place that we put our focus. unless we want to help them heal or, we're in that space. I don't mean that they're not important or they're not people, but I think you know what I mean.
Of course we do.
It's like, that's our mission, right? And the more people that can feel good and feel aligned with their life and the way that they're showing up in the world, we'll see less of that, because it's just a lot of times it's just a reflection of the way that they're feeling about themselves. And so, one person at a time, we can uplift the world.
Yeah. And I think it's about protecting our energy in order to be able to serve at our highest level, right? So if like you and I have a very clear, strong, passionate, inspired mission to help people to create the lives that they love, lives that they're in love with, more time, more energy, more fulfilling relationships, right? Like we're so clear on our mission. And so it becomes really vital for us to protect our energy. And protecting our energy means that we choose who we surround ourselves by. We choose what we engage in. We choose what we opt into and what we don't. And if we're careless about that or mindless about it and we don't put any intention behind that, then we could have major energy leaks, and then we're not able to fulfill our personal mission. So be real clear about how you want to show up in the world, how you want to serve, and then look around you and find what are the energy leaks? What are the maybe unconscious ways that you are not protecting your energy, and how can you shift that and be a little bit more mindful about it?
Boom.
Boom. Well,
awesome, guys. That was it's so funny. I love how that evolved.
I know. I love it.
It's just one of those inspired impulse episodes. It's awesome. So we're really stoked about this, and we are going to start sharing more of our fails because it's funny and valuable. And it helps us to laugh instead of cry, or maybe, both. But
yeah, I'm reading this really great book that I'd love to recommend to everybody. It's called, You Are a Badass at Making Money by Jen Sincero. She's the one that wrote You Are a Badass, which is another great book. We'll put the links in the show notes for this. And Pua, you're the first person to get this book after me. We always share. I love our Best Life Ever book club that we have going on with our team. So
awesome.
But so in this book, she talks about how she's made a life for herself as a writer and as a coach. And it's so awesome because she's like, look, if my broke ass can do it, so can you. And I think that's why we feel so inspired hearing about other people's challenges. It's not because misery loves company or anything, but it gives us hope. And a lot of times we feel like we look out there and, it's easy for other people to quote unquote be successful because their life is easier than mine, right? That's the separator. And that's what we'd like to kind of put out there as we're sharing about our fails. It's not for no reason. We're sharing about our fails because look, if it everybody fails, and when you can, it can give us hope that people that may look like they're quote unquote successful all the time still have the same challenges that you do.
For sure.
Yeah.
We are all human.
We're all human.
We are living in this really weird, exciting world all together. And hashtag Best Life Ever Fail is going to show us all that that's actually true.
Yes.
So share with us. We're going to share with you. It's going to be awesome.
And a little extra challenge too, that you can, around your dinner table tonight with your family, your friends and your kids or whoever, instead of celebrating your wins, which we're really used to doing nowadays, right? Everybody talks about hey, what are we grateful for and what are we celebrating? And that's awesome. We need more of that in the world.
Gratitude is so last year.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Right. So, tonight or whenever you're listening to this, celebrate your fails. Celebrate your fails, knowing that it means that you're trying. Know that it means that you're risking failure. Know that it means that you're getting out of your comfort zone, and really have a blast with this.
There is, so the CEO of Spanx, God, what's her, Sarah Blakely. Blakely. So I think this was her. She talks about her father and she'd come home from school and he'd say, like, how'd you fail today? They would actually have this like celebratory dinner conversation around all of the ways that they failed, because he was so, he believed so strongly in this. And you know, if you're out there taking risks and doing big things and taking leaps, you're going to fail. And that's awesome, because you're doing it. You're out there, you're making moves, and failure only means that the next thing will be better or different. And so, I mean, she's killing it. Like, Spanx is super successful. She's a really cool chick. You guys should definitely jump on YouTube. She's got some cool stuff out there. But this is a real thing. We didn't just make this up. And we kind of did, but it's real and it works.
Yay. Love it.
Love it. Guys, we also want to acknowledge one of our sponsors, Empowered Presentations. They created such an epic presentation for us. They've done 2 for us now, and they have both been just the most amazing. I almost see it as like when you're experiencing this presentation, you are in the home of Best Life Ever. Like, you are in the Best Life Ever mansion, and you're like you're walking through, this room is time and energy training, and this room is big vision. And so it's just like this beautiful, wonderful, positive thing. And they are the best presentation company in the world. I can confidently say that with 100% certainty. If you guys need a presentation, reach out to them. Go to empoweredpresentations.com and let them know you heard about them through Best Life Ever, the podcast.
Yes. And if you would like to get an opportunity to check out our presentation that they made for us, reach out to us. We would love to, do a complimentary strategy session with you and your team. Bring us into your workplace. We'd love to find out ways that we could support you and your business. We do corporate workshops on time and energy, and we just love what we do so much. And we're really working on serving as many businesses that are inspired to have more happy, fulfilled employees, create better work-life integration, create more time and energy and focus for your personal mission. So we are here to serve. This is what we do. So reach out to us. You can check us out at kimiandpua.com.
I don't know what to say.
Fail. That was a failed ending to our podcast. So we're going to say it again. Hey, we love you guys. We fail too. You like that? Have a great week, everybody. We hope you fail plenty, fail fast, and fail forward.
Love you.
I love that.